So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who is watching. We at Middle East Insights today are having, as a part of our international dialogue series, going to talk on a very important and evolving situation, which is India's response post Pahalgam, the terrorist attack that took place. And our speaker is Tuhin Sinha. He's national spokesperson of BJP. He's a best-selling author and politician. He is renowned for his incisive commentary on contemporary political issues and his non-fiction writing that have examined India's developmental paradigms. His literary contributions include co-authoring The Legend of Birsa Munda in 2021, Modi's Northeast Story in 2024. He has also co-authored Climate Action India, which was published in this year. So with this, sir, thank you so much for the privilege of your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
And sir, my first question is, as the press briefing by Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri just ended right now, and he made a very important point of how state funerals are given to terrorists in Pakistan. And how do you, in this context, how do you understand what is happening, misinformation, the agenda setting, all of that Pakistan is doing, though it is an evolving situation, we cannot talk much about the operational side of it. But we as a country, how should we perceive it?
Well, good evening, everybody. A foreign secretary made it very clear, there are state funerals being given to the slain terrorists. In fact, one of the terrorists who was killed yesterday is Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Rauf Ashgar, who was involved with the IC-814 hijacking. So now if Pakistan insists, or if Pakistan claims that these are civilians, it only confirms our worst fears that this is a rogue country for which there is very little difference between terrorists and civilians. So like, the foreign secretary mentioned, we never wanted to be escalatory. Our airstrikes have been very focused. They have hit the right targets. They have sent across a message to the world that India reserves the right to protect herself. We may not have exercised the rights for a very long time, for many decades, but we would exercise that right now. And of course, this follows a grave provocation which took place on 22nd April in Pahalgam. So, unfortunately, last night, Pakistan, true to its depraved character, even tried to attack, ostensibly attack the Golden Temple. All of those attacks were thwarted, and we have neutralized the air defense system, their air defense system in Lahore. So now the onus is really on Pakistan to curtail itself, to redeem itself, because like I said, Pakistan should ideally be grateful to India. We have done a job which they should have done. Pakistan's future generations were in grave danger of being under the influence of these terrorists. I think we have done a favor to Pakistan by killing so many of them. And we don't know the figures really, because Pakistan would be concealing the figures. There were some reports I saw today that almost 100 terrorists have been neutralized. I think, Pakistan needs to curtail itself. India's intention, Prime Minister Modi ji has been on record on so many occasions. On one occasion, he has said that, we draw inspiration from Buddha. This is the land of Buddha, not Yuddha. Right in front of Russian President Putin, he had very categorically said this is not the age of war. So we don't believe in escalation. I think, the onus is on Pakistan to really restrain itself, to redeem itself, and to start a new chapter.
Yeah, redemption is quite difficult as of now, but how do you think that, how would there be any prevention of escalation if Pakistan does not contain?
So like we all would agree, it's an evolving situation. We have been very transparent in our operations. We have provided the list of exact destinations, the terror targets which have been zeroed in upon and which have been struck by us, the nine places which were shared by the nine targets which were shared by, you know, um, by the IEF official yesterday. So I, absolutely see no reason why Pakistan should, like you just mentioned, and like we all saw, if their top politicians, if their top army, officers go and participate in the funeral of these terrorists, I mean, what message are they sending across to the world? Like, there is very little difference between the Pakistan army and terrorists, which is something which I have been on record, which I've been saying on television in the last couple of weeks. See, India has been constrained to take this step. Ideally, we should have taken it 16 years ago in the aftermath of 26/11, which killed 167 people. There was another massive, series of blasts in July 2006, in several local trains of Mumbai, which again had killed about 200 people. Ideally, we should have taken this step much before. But the provocation, once again, the Pahalgam provocation was so grave. And in any case, Pahalgam was preceded by a series of smaller terror attacks, particularly targeting the minority community in Jammu and Kashmir, which included one at Raisi last year on 9th June, where pilgrims returning from Vaishno Devi temple were attacked. So, we have been provoked, we have been constrained into taking this decision. We don't believe in escalation. And ideally, Pakistan should think afresh, and they should grow out of their obsession with terror. That is the only way an escalation can be avoided. Because if they respond, if they retaliate, then obviously we reserve the right to further retaliate.
Yes. And in the evolving situation, if Pakistan retaliates, what do you think? How long can Pakistan sustain a conventional war, considering the state of its
Well, I'm not an
economy?
army or a defense expert. So my sense is Pakistan is a fragile country as of today. We have seen that their surveillance systems and their, I don't know what kind of equipment and weapons they're using, because they have failed, they have failed with those weapons and artillery or, the surveillance systems in the last 2 days. So it's best for Pakistan. And I'm not even bothered how long can Pakistan sustain itself. I think Pakistan has outlived its longevity. And I think, whether it is Balochistan or whether it is Kashmir, in all of these places, the kind of angst that it evokes in the common people, the kind of angst which Pakistan evokes is something which they need to be honest in accepting. The same is the situation in Balochistan. Every day, Balochistan is, becoming unmanageable for Pakistan because of the atrocities which Pakistani generals have carried on in Balochistan for a very long time. So I think they need to do a reality check. Like, we don't take responsibility for their actions. We have given them a very long rope, and I think it's about time they behave themselves.
And so when we talk about Balochistan, China will not remain silent.
Well, we have factored in, all possibilities, all the countries which are going to firmly stand by us, the countries which are going to be neutral, and the countries which are not going to be neutral and not support us. So I think all of these things are taken care of. I don't see a worry anywhere. India reserves her right to respond to an attack. India reserves her right to protect her citizens. And I think that is paramount. Nothing more counts.
Yeah. And so the last question is it time to consider putting Pakistan again in the grey list by Financial Action Task Force, which was founded in 1989 on the initiative of G7 to develop policies to combat money laundering and to maintain...
Well, in the last post 2014, you will need to realize that, broadly in the first 1.5 years after Prime Minister Modi came to power, we had given multiple chances to Pakistan to behave in a friendly manner. In fact, at one point of time, Prime Minister Modi even traveled to Lahore on Nawaz Sharif's birthday. But when that was followed by the Pathankot attack. And by the way, but in Pathankot attack, we after the Pathankot attack, we did something absolutely unprecedented. We allowed joint investigation, which ideally which no previous government had done. But in spite of all that, Pakistan could not grow out of its perfidious, out of its deceptive nature. So in the last 9 years following Pathankot, and of course, Pathankot was followed by Uri. Uri was followed by surgical strikes. Then we had the Pulwama attack. Pulwama attack was retaliated with Balakot. I think we have maintained an arm's length from Pakistan. We have purposely, decided that we don't want to be drawn into this fake friendship, the only purpose of which in the past has been to deceive India with a fresh attack. So, sorry, what was the question?
So this was basically the question about, if Pakistan should be put into the grey list of FATF.
So one of the strong diplomatic measures we had taken against Pakistan was to, obviously, had Pakistan been, was to, get Pakistan listed in the FATF sanctions list, which I think happened in 2018. Pakistan managed to get out of it 3 years later. But I think this is the time for the world to once again see how Pakistan is behaving. It's a rogue country. There is no doubt in anybody's mind. And I think, the global authorities need to be more firm against Pakistan. IMF needs to realize that, it need not be deceived once again with a fake promise by Pakistan. So I think, we have in the last 9 years or so diplomatically ostracized Pakistan. Even after the abrogation of Article 370, you would have seen that Pakistan got very little support, barring a Turkey or barring Malaysia. Even within the Islamic countries, Pakistan today enjoys very little support. In fact, as we speak, I think the Deputy Minister of External Affairs, if I'm not mistaken, of Saudi Arabia is here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so I think Pakistan's support within the Islamic world is also dwindling. It's because of its inability to grow out of its terror obsession. It's because of its inability to devise a positive agenda in its engagement with different countries. And I think it's about time that Pakistan should be put back into the FATF sanctions list, because at least after 22nd April, we should have ideally seen some amount of remorse from Pakistan, some pretense of cooperation. But instead, they have remained defiant. And by the way, the onus for 22nd April Pahalgam attack was taken by TRF, the Resistance Front. What is TRF? TRF is an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Toiba. Who houses Lashkar-e-Toiba? It's Pakistan vision. So I think, Pakistan should have ideally done a little more, or pretended to do a little more, but it has shown that it is absolutely incorrigible. Now, once again, the onus is on Pakistan to really behave responsibly and give up its obsession with terror.
Yeah. And yes, you're correct. The Saudi Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Adel Al-Jaber, is in Delhi. He, in the morning, met with EM Dr. Shankar. And today, as we speak right now, I think a meeting between the Iranian foreign minister and Dr. Jaishankar is taking place at Hyderabad House.
Right.
Yeah. And massive amount of disinformation which is being peddled on social media, not only from Pakistan, but from many other social media handles which are supportive of Pakistan. What do you want to say to the international scholars who are watching you right now on how to deal with this misinformation?
Well, information war is a reality. It's part of the psychological warfare we talk about. So I think one needs to be able to steer clear out of it, not get drawn into it. And unfortunately, I'm a politician. I'm not a defense expert, because a defense expert might be able to better brief you on the nuances and the intricacies of information warfare and psychological warfare. But yes, I guess it's a part of the game, unfortunate part of the game. And one needs to, defense experts going ahead need to be acquainted with it, need to, take it head on.
Thank you so much for the privilege of
Sure.
your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.